Vedanta agrees to the deal over Cain. The talks were of a 51% stake buyout that they are going to do of Cain India. Possible $8 to $8.5 billion is what they're going to pay for that 51% stake, which indeed translates into some bit of a premium that they are going to pay, because the total market cap of Cain India currently stands at around $13 billion. And for a 51% stake, if they actually go ahead by paying $8 to $8.5 billion, that's a premium of close to around 10% that they are paying for that kind of a stake. Cain India has already run up quite a bit on Friday as well, when we broke the news that the announcement might happen. On Monday, the stock ran up 4%. Currently, the stock's not doing too much, so we are actually going ahead and seeing some bit of reaction there. Right now, the stock's down by just about 1% odd. Those are the flashes coming in on your screen. Vedanta has finally agreed to go ahead with the deal. You have a 62% holding that Cain Energy has with Cain India. Now, Anil Agarwal has actually gone ahead to meet Bill Gamble in London today, and Vedanta, like we pointed out, a 51% stake. The initial talks were about 10 to 15%, which got contradicted, and almost a majority stake is what people have been talking about, a 51% stake. The total value, however, has not yet come in terms of the amount. Alright, so we were talking about $8 to $8.5 billion. Now the amount comes into $8.5 to $9.6 billion, which again is still on the higher side that they are actually going to pay. So Vedanta to buy a 51 to 60% stake in Cain. The exact stake buyout is not mentioned, but this is in excess of 51%, and they are ready to pay almost $8.5 to $9.6 billion for Cain. The kind of values that they have been giving in. We'll get in our analyst to actually come in and talk about this a little bit more. 30% stake is what ONGC holds in Cain India's key Rajasthan assets. They need to go ahead and take approval from ONGC. They need to, according to the production sharing contract, they also need to seek prior approval from the government. What has happened till now?
All right, those approvals are not very easy to come by as far as timelines are concerned. It's not going to happen immediately, so to say. But what we're picking up from, again, very highly placed sources. We did dial Mr. R.S. Sharma, the chairman of ONGC, who refused to comment. But again, what we're picking up from ONGC is they're not happy about the way Cain has gone about this transaction. They're rather miffed about this. They're miffed about the fact that they haven't been kept in the loop, despite the fact that they hold about 30% stake in their best producing oil block, that's the Barmer block in Rajasthan. Now, Cain India and ONGC will have to sit down and tweak and rework the terms of negotiation, the terms of the production sharing contract with the government, and that is where ONGC perhaps could play a large role. I remember about a couple of months back when Cain had actually gone ahead and revised its assets in Rajasthan and did not keep ONGC in a loop. It had become a bit of a procedural, it had become a bit of an issue with the government and with ONGC, its large partner. It's happening one more time, so it almost looks like deja vu. Mr. R.S. Sharma refuses to comment officially, but unofficially what we're picking up from sources in ONGC is they're not happy about this. They're going to take the matter to the government. And the government of India had told us just on Friday, Mr. Sundaresan, the oil secretary, had said very categorically that any majority stake sale in Cain India will not only require his approval, but will also require, under the PSC, tweaking of the production sharing contract. Because remember, this is a pattern, this is a change in pattern of the shareholding as far as Cain India is concerned.
Just want to come to you on that bit itself. You were pointing out that earlier on as well, sometime in 2005, when Cain Energy had actually gone ahead and offered its interest in the Rajasthan fields, it offered about $5 billion to ONGC for the assets, and they had not agreed to the valuations. It had to therefore go and list Cain India to actually come out and participate in those oil fields. But now, if there is some bit of a tug of war, some bit of what do I say, rejection that ONGC brings upon from its side, how do you think Cain India is equipped to take it on, since it's already gone ahead and it's saying that they are going to go ahead with the deal?
Let's remember one thing very categorically. It's not someone like Rahul Dheer, who's been an investment banker, new to the policy circles, new to the policy framework, new to politicians, who's going to head this one now. This is really now Anil Agarwal's baby. He's completely inverse. He completely understands how policy functions in India. He understands, you know, the kind of politicians he'll have to deal with. He understands the kind of resistance he may have to face. But he's far better equipped. He's far more a part of this kind of a system than perhaps a Rahul Dheer was. So yes, understandably so. Again, Bill Gamble is really an energy man. He isn't so much of a he isn't so much of a politician's man. He isn't so much of a negotiator, so to say. Now, which is where Anil Agarwal will perhaps use his expertise and use them efficiently. But that's one thing that will perhaps play on the government of India's mind. That is one thing that will also perhaps play on the Petroleum Ministry's mind, that here's someone who's coming in who has no prior expertise of oil and gas. But so did L.N. Mittal. I mean, L.N. Mittal had no prior expertise of oil and gas. He came in, had a huge partnership going on with OVL. So it's almost like a country cousin had done something 4 years back, and that's exactly what Anil Agarwal is doing. He's looking at expanding his commodity empire. The government of India perhaps will not have any very many issues with it. The only issue which will perhaps be brought up will be the fact that ONGC is miffed about the role it has been, about the fact that it hasn't been kept in the loop, about the fact that it hasn't had a more active role to play than it would have liked to. But again, you know, and the fact that I was referring to was just about a couple of months back when Cain India had revised their entire reserve estimate and did so, and did a public announcement, went and did a press conference, and Mr. R.S. Sharma, the ONGC chairman, did not even know about it. So those are thorny issues there. It hasn't been the most wonderful relationship between the two partners. It's been a bit of a rocky marriage, so to say. So perhaps those issues resurfacing once again.